Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to create a database in MongoDB. First thing you need to do is open up two instances of your command prompt. If you're on a Mac, you open two instances of your terminal. The first one, we'll use that to start up the Mongo server, and to start the server you type in MongoD. The D is for the Mongo daemon that starts up the server. So we start the server there, and then the second screen here, second command prompt, is where we initiate the client. So to initiate the client, we type in Mongo. So we now have both the server and the client up and running. Tells you here one connection now open. You can see it flashing here, waiting for instructions. To create a database in MongoDB, you use the keyword use. All you need to do is type in the word use space followed by the name you want to call the database. So for example, I want to call my database Blue Lime. That's it. I'll just press enter, and that has created a database called Blue Lime. There is a command you can type to show all the database that you have on your system in MongoDB, and the command is show space dbs. Press enter. As you can see, we've only got two databases listed. It has not listed the database we've just created because the database is empty and hasn't got any data to display. If you want to check the current database you are using, you just type in the command db and press enter. So it tells me the current database is Blue Lime. So I'm going to insert one document into my database, so it will come up when I request for a show list of the database in MongoDB. So MongoDB uses a JSON format. So the command I'm going to type, I'm going to create, I do the db dot fruits. So this will be kind of like the table equivalent. Dot insert is what you use to add into a database table or collection. So the fruits will be an equivalent of a database table. In Mongo terms, is called a collection. And then we have opening parentheses and then opening curly braces, followed by each database table or collection should have fields, and each of the fields will have a key and a value. So this field has a key called name, and you separate the key from the value with a colon, and you also have to enclose it in quotes because this is text. The value of my key, I'm going to call it apples. Okay, and then once I've done that, I will close the curly braces and then close the parentheses and press enter. So if you look here, you can see write one. That means I've written something to the database. So it has now tells you here write result inserted one. So I've inserted one record into the database. Now if I type in the command show space dbs, it should list all the databases. You can see we've got Blue Lime listed as well. In MongoDB, the default database is called test, hence we have a database here called test. So if you're inserting any document into MongoDB without creating a database, it will automatically store that collection inside the test database. So this here, what we've just done here, this is known as a collection, this db.fruit. So we're inserting, this is a collection which is kind of like a database table. So if you don't specify a database, it will add that to the test database. So that's it for this lecture. That's how you create a database in MongoDB. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn how to insert a document into MongoDB. To begin, open up two instances of your command prompt or your terminal. The first we'll use to start the MongoDB server, and the second we'll use to activate the shell or the client. So let's start the server first by typing in MongoD and press enter. So you can see the server has started. It's usually on the default port 27017. Now let's activate the shell or the client just by typing in Mongo. That will activate it. It tells you one connection now open. We've got the flashing cursor, which means our shell is waiting for instructions. First thing I like to do is display a list of the database, and we have. So we do show space dbs, enter. So currently we have two databases. One is test, which is the default database. So let's create another database, and the command you need is you type in the word use space followed by the name you want to call the database. I'm going to call mine assets, and I have I now have a new database called assets. However, if I do a show again, show dbs, I will not see that database listed because it has no documents inside. So what we're going to do is insert some documents in a document into the database we've just created. So if you want to check the current database you're on, you type in db, enter. So it tells me the database I'm currently on is called assets, which is the database I want to be in. So I need to issue a command for this database. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a collection and also insert at the same time. You can insert a single record, or you can insert multiple records into one key by using an array. I will be using an array because I want to add or insert multiple records. So I have added an array of records here into my database called assets. So this is what I did. I did db.cars insert, and this square bracket indicates I'm inserting an array. So I've inserted multiple values into one key just to save time. So you can either do that, or you can manually insert one value at a time, one value and then the key each time. So we've got variants, we've got the key, we've got the value, the key, the value, the key, the value. So it tells you here also I've written 4 records, or I've inserted 4 records into the database. So write basically means you're inserting or adding something. So this is all what I've just added. It tells you here I did a bulk write, and this is the result. Write errors, no errors at all. So I've inserted 5. It tells you the values. Okay, so that's how you insert into a MongoDB database. So you can either insert a single value, single row, or you can insert multiple as one into one key using an array. The key thing to know when you are inserting multiple values is that if you have several fields or multiple values, you must separate each one with a comma. You notice here after the first one is a comma, comma, comma. You don't need to place a comma with the last value. And when you're using an array, don't forget after the opening parentheses, you add the square brackets, and then after the here also you close the square brackets and then the closing parentheses. So this is the JSON object or document that are used for the insertion into the MongoDB database. So started with the command db.cars. So cars is a collection or the table in relational databases. So I'm inserting these values into cars. There are multiple values, but they're going into one key. So every in JSON you have the key and then the value. So these are the keys and these are the values, but they are all multiple list or multiple value as one because I've used an array. I could have decided not to use an array and just insert one line at a time. Just insert one value, go back, insert another value. But doing it this way is a lot easier. It just inserts 4 records in at once. So that's it for this lecture on inserting into MongoDB. Thanks for watching. Bye.